Hello everyone, my name is Laura and I'm the founder of the Writers Harbour, and today I'm going to be talking to you about building a slow marketing agency in a viral era. So the next 20 minutes are going to include a brief background about me, so you know my journey, where I came from and what I'm trying to create. Sustainable marketing or slow marketing, there's a multitude of terms for it, and how to use this form of marketing sustainably in your own marketing. So I really want you to be able to take some things away from this that you can implement in your workspaces, in your companies when you're freelancing. So a brief history, brief journey. I graduated my undergraduate degree in 2020. In fact, I think it was probably today or tomorrow where our university turned around to us and said that we, as drama students, weren't able to do our final pieces live. Our graduate degree and graduation was postponed. Everything happened 6 years ago. So I ended up choosing to do a master's in digital marketing because I'd already been marketing myself as a creative. And through that, I started freelancing, and that spiraled into about 2 years of freelancing. What started as a community page on Instagram grew into me getting my own clients. And then in 2022, I did a complete 180 and decided to go and work on board cruise ships. It was a summer of 2022. I flew out to Corfu and I was working predominantly in sales and marketing and promoted to being one of the youngest female officers on board in the company. Last year, I decided to come home and started the Writers Harbour, which is all around sustainable marketing, because the freelancing I'd done in 2021 and 2022 was still ticking over in the background as I was on ships. And the majority of traffic I was getting from that was through sustainable marketing platforms. So I'd seen both myself and founders alike, companies, marketers, spent hours editing for algorithms that A, changed every week, B, would change and lose your content after you posted it. You might post a TikTok 4 seconds later, it gets buried under a load of other videos. And it was constantly changing, and I felt like the marketing we were doing was so fast-paced and feeding into such an algorithm that was constantly demanding for new content. I felt like there had to be another way. Variety has its place. So important to say that going viral has its place. But what happens when you build the foundations away from the algorithm? So if you do go viral, you've got the right audience attracted to you. It wasn't viral videos that were building my brand when I was at sea. It was slow, sustainable marketing that compounded over time. So important that people realize marketing foundations should be slow and compound over time rather than a quick linear acceleration. So in comes sustainable marketing. And at the Writers Harbour, what I've created is 3 pillars every brand can utilize. Often I get a lot of questions that say, my brand can't utilize this platform because my clients aren't on there. Your client might not be posting on there, but trust me, they are there. Even if they are silent, even if they don't engage, they are on these platforms that I'm about to introduce to you. These 3 platforms have worked for me when I was at sea, and they now work for my clients within our agency. How many of you, just show of hands, how many of you have a LinkedIn account? Me. So, all of you. Can I ask how many of you post weekly from that account? So it's none of you.
I only started mine last week and I posted once, so technically.
Oh, good. You're on the trajectory. If we can keep that up, amazing. So LinkedIn has a 0.3 rate for people that post weekly on the app. It's 0.3 to around 1%. 13% is on Pinterest. If you look at Instagram, it immediately jumps up to 51% of users that post weekly on the app. That is over half of users on Instagram that are putting content into the feed weekly. And then you look at LinkedIn. Less than 1% of people on LinkedIn dominate 100% of the feed space. And when you think about that as a founder, as a marketer, as a company, because a lot of founders are now heading their companies, the founder economy is really booming. The fact that less than 1% are posting on this platform means they're getting 100% of the reach 100% the visibility and 100% the leads. It's an untapped market that a lot of people don't think that they can go onto because they think their clients aren't there. And I'm here to say this evening, if you don't think your client's there because no one's posting about the industry you're in, that's the exact reason you should be posting on LinkedIn, because you can become an industry expert. You can position yourself as the expert in that industry because no one else is talking about it. And I assure you there'll be people who scroll on LinkedIn that will want to see what you're doing, that would be your direct consumer and your ideal client. The results we've had was a new client attained a client from her LinkedIn page. A lot of people these days are very quick to undermine LinkedIn pages, undermine the newsletters, but they still have their place and they are incredible for community building. One of our clients actually had their LinkedIn newsletter post reposted by a LinkedIn user, not just a normal repost, but a repost with a paragraph, 2 to 3 mini paragraphs about how the post and the newsletter really inspired them. Like I said, that client also had a client come to her LinkedIn page and ended up signing up. It's untapped feed potential, and it is incredible for visibility and makes up one of the 3 pillars we have within the Writers' Harbour. It's also the platform within these 3 that has the most of the algorithm. It's still algorithmic on LinkedIn, but the fact that less than 1% are posting on the platform means you're not fighting with 51% of people to post on Instagram. Then we move on to email. I love email. I was at a networking event the other week and someone said that they felt like email was quite old, quite outdated, maybe a bit dead. I had to say it's still one of the best converters in organic marketing, and it's more than just sales. I don't actually have a screenshot of this because it happened 48 hours ago, but I have a client, she's a therapist in New York, and we put together an email about her writing a digital letter, the closest thing we could get to pen and paper. And I explicitly said, we're not going to do a bold CTA. We're not going to focus it on sales. We put a tiny little CTA at the bottom. If you want to find out about the course, go here. And that email is currently on around a 42% open rate. And her highest open rate before then was 25%. Email marketing doesn't have to just rely on sales, because that one email has created more depth and more community than 10 sales emails we could have sent for her. So it's a long game. Building up your email list, getting that compound growth, it's a long game, but then you might think these are quite low, 16%, 20%. But if you look at the clicks, that's the metric that we really want to be looking at. We want to also be looking at the clicks per users. Obviously, we had a big open rate here, but still a 1.6, which is around the industry average for click-through rates. And a lot of these were, I think this one here, was after we promoted one of that client's programs, and she ended up selling out her program. This is the therapist, and we are now looking to open that second round up, and it's almost already filled. So we're almost creating that email marketing space as a wait list. As in, if you're on socials, if you're just on her Instagram, we're going to speak about it, but if you want a place, you have to be on these emails, making it that supply and demand, because we've created that base community through storytelling over time. So like I said, the highest open rate for a client was purely storytelling. We then sold out her program, and it's that consistent community building that leads to revenue. So we've got LinkedIn as your visibility, we've got email as your revenue, and I've saved the best to last. How many of you use Pinterest? Do we love? Yeah. What do you use Pinterest for?
Just to search for ideas, like maybe meal ideas, or like my nails, inspiration for my nails.
Yeah. Okay. So, how about using it to market your business? I speak to so many people at events, fellow marketers, creators. There's going to be a Pinterest creator economy boom. I'm 100% certain on that. These are some of the results that we've got from our clients and my own journey with Pinterest. This is how many impressions we got monthly. This is the amount of specific people, individual people. So it's not just 100,000 people clicking 10 times, it's 800,000 monthly we had views. Engagement, 30,000, up 376%. There is such an economy for Pinterest. And just going off the SEO talk that we just had, Pinterest gets past that 0-click factor, because if you click on a Pinterest pin, say if you're clicking to see your nails, you go directly to the website that's linked there. You don't go to an AI summary. So if you've got a website in 2026 and you want to get more direct traffic to it, if you're worried about ranking in ChatGPT and you want more direct traffic to your website, Pinterest is the OG long-term marketing platform that will compound for you over time. It's almost one of the things that you can get close to passive marketing. I never want to say too much passive marketing, because you always have to put work in marketing. But before I went onto Ships, I'd built up my Pinterest, I'd had a blog, I went onto Ships, and those screenshots that you just saw were when I was on Ships. I wasn't updating new pins. Those pins were just consistently building traffic, because it's an SEO platform and it doesn't get stuck in the 0-click issue that so many websites are having. 1 in 4 consumers say they want their brands on Pinterest and they're nowhere to be found. So when I say that your client necessarily might not post on Pinterest, they are there, they are scrolling, they are consuming, they are looking for inspo, they are a hot audience. 96% of searches, you probably just put in spring nails or blue nails. They're not branded. So that gives you such an opportunity, if you're a nail artist, if you're a nail brand, to reach the top of those search results. And 85% of users make a purchase at least a week after based on a pin they've seen. Whether it's going directly from the pin or if it's remembering that brand. I do homeware shopping on Pinterest all the time. I will remember that. Even if I don't shop it through that pin itself, I'll go to the website and get it. 85% of users make a purchase based on a pin. Like I said, I grew my Pinterest to 1 million monthly views. This wasn't just vanity metrics. Consistent leads were coming to our website. I wasn't even updating anymore. We doubled our clients' numbers. She went from 49,000 to 94,000. It wasn't until last year, so about 3 years later, we had a conversation and she said, Laura, I still get clicks from your Pinterest strategy 3 years later. And it is going to become a new creator economy. If you're a founder, if you're a creator, if you're a marketer, and you're not building a platform on Pinterest, doesn't necessarily have to be branded, but if you're not building a platform on Pinterest, you are missing out on an untapped potential of getting so much link clicks, so much visibility, because you're not falling into that 0-click, and it's going to compound over time without you having to constantly make TikToks and Instagrams and threads every day. You can repurpose, but having this as a long-term strategy, as a client that thinks long-term, is going to be very, very lucrative in the next 3 to 5 years at least. Okay, Laura, how do I apply all this to my business? Let's talk about it. Don't sleep on LinkedIn pages. Their page posts and newsletters, regardless of your industry, are great for creating community. They get people talking, they're great to have a read on your lunch break. Be honest, people don't want polished perfection anymore. My biggest post has a typo in it on the second line, not even when you go into the actual body of the text of the LinkedIn post itself, right in the middle. The reason. I only saw it about 10 hours later and no one has said anything to me about it to this day, and it has over about 5,000 impressions, lots of comments, lots of interaction. No one minds, it's not that deep. Get yourselves on LinkedIn, be honest, connections. Building your community leads you to new spaces. How do you think I'm here doing this event right now? Through LinkedIn. What about emails? Trying different styles, using A/B tests sparingly. Don't necessarily do every A/B test on every email. Try it once or twice a month, see what works. Different times of the year are going to require different subject lines. Segment with intention. I saw this a couple of weeks ago. If you've got an email list that you haven't used for 6 months, but then you send do you want to not hear Mother's Day marketing from us? You haven't spoke to your audience in 6 months. So just throwing that into their inbox can actually be quite jarring and can have the opposite effect of you trying to be thoughtful. And look at the stats that matter. We want to be looking at the clicks. Open rates are important, but the results of the A/B testing are all things that you want to be looking at in your emails, but we don't want to be looking at vanity metrics. We want to be looking at what links people are clicking, how often they're clicking them, when they are opening the email, what headline they prefer, if they're replying to your email. Our client had quite a few messages off the back of that email that we did saying, we really love this email. Actually getting replies of your newsletters is something no one talks about. And Pinterest, start that profile. Even the SEO of having Pinterest profile will be powerful. There is literally a website called Pinterest Trends that forecasts you trending keywords. In January, I had a girl speak to me, she was a personal stylist. I said in March, spring cleaning's going to go off because it's spring. It's going to trend, it's going to have its boost. So we came up with an idea of spring cleaning your wardrobe. Now those pins that were created in January takes 90 days to rank in the search engines. They'll be right at the top of that search result now. Exactly the same as if in October you start pinning New Year, New Me inspo. I had a quote listicle that went just ticked over every year because everyone's always searching for quotes and inspiration. Whatever industry you're in, guarantee you can probably make a quote and put it on Pinterest. And it will get you traffic because people love savable content on Pinterest. And again, going back to the idea of it being a stock market, we're focusing on compound growth over quick viral hits here. So what's next at the Writers' Harbour? We're going to continue to help founders build sustainably through LinkedIn, through email, and through Pinterest. We're also building out the Writers' Harbour's foundation, which is centered around writing tools for the next generation. People that necessarily haven't grown up with tools for writing, something we're really passionate about, and you will see that our 3 pillars include SEO and writing at their core. And it's not short form, it's long form, it's depth, it's community, it's what people are craving in 2026. This is where to find me. Thank you very much for listening. And if you've got any questions, let me know. Thank you.